Welcome to TellUs. Today is November 28th, 2018, and I have two fabulous guests today. I have Tracy Gantlin-Monroy here today, part two. Remember, she was here about a month ago on October 24th, and we had the most fabulous discussion on what the black people need as far as therapy is concerned, as far as talking about what issues you have. Because, you know, we as black people, we have a problem about getting therapy. I was raised that way, as my mother always told me, child, don't go see a psychiatrist. Don't do that. Black people, go see a psychiatrist, go see a clinician, go talk about your issues and everything else. I went to a workshop that she had the very next day on the 25th of October. I learned so much in that group setting. It was fabulous. It was fabulous. I will be the first one to tell you that as a culture, as a people, and as a nation, no matter what your culture is in your race, get therapy, go get discussion. I've always said there's healing in conversation, but there's real true healing from a professional. I learned so much even about myself in listening to issues that I had and what other women had. It was fabulous. So then we're here at the station today, so to begin, but we started a little bit late today, but you know what? All good things come to those who wait.
Very
so
true.
We had a young lady in there and they were doing makeup and all this stuff, and I said, oh, that's a cute little girl. What's going on?
Wait, let's back
It's
up.
a-
She actually gave me some of her airtime, so I was very appreciative of that.
And but see, and I didn't know
She
who
didn't know.
was. I said, oh, she's a cute little girl. Didn't matter. We can go over. I don't care about that. So then, as I'm in here setting up to begin my show, my producer, Yanez, she said, girl, did you know what that is in there? I said, who, that little girl? She said, yeah, that's Lisa Left. That's Lisa Left Eye Lopez's sister. And I was like, I walked to the next room and I just looked at her like that, and I walked in and said,
Yeah, she did. She came back.
this is Lisa Left Eye Lopez's sister.
Yes. There's only one, so if anyone else says that, they're lying.
And look at her. She looks just like her.
Yeah. But I just wanted to come in and say hi. Since she was so gracious to me, I wanted to return and pay it forward. So.
And then she looked just like her. I just keep saying it and saying it. But I just thank you for being so
You are
sweet
so
and so
welcome.
kind.
I thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, you
Thank
are
you
a
so
blessing.
much. Have a great show.
I am happily in my 50s and I am still starstruck.
Bye. It's nice
And her
meeting
sister,
you.
and next time when one of her songs come on, I'm gonna point out to
Yes,
him
and then you can tell him.
because he wasn't even born.
And you can show them the picture, and they'll be like, oh, yeah.
No, okay, thank you so much, honey.
welcome.
And her name is Raindrop, you guys.
Yes, Raindrop Lopez.
Okay, Raindrop Lopez. Thank you, my love. Safe travels.
Thank you.
So see, you never know what's going to go on and happen on TellUs, but that is part of Atlanta. That truly is part of Atlanta. Okay, we want to sit up, don't we? Okay.
She says we want to sit up,
And this
don't
is my
we?
grandson, Cameron. He was here with us last time when Miss Tracy Gantlin-Monroy was here, but we had such a great discussion, we didn't have time to discuss everything. So I brought him back today so we could get his question in this time. But first, I want to give the kudos to Miss Tracy Gantlin-Monroy. I want to read again her bio. I don't want to leave out anything for you guys, because again, you're in for a great treat. It's going to be a sweet, short show, but you know what? It's going to be sweet, and it's going to be fabulous. Just as fabulous as the first show was, it's going to be more fabulous today. But again, Tracy Gantlin-Monroy is a licensed professional counselor and visionary that drives Grace Community Counseling and Social Services, LLC. Tracy Gantlin-Monroy is a fierce proponent of soul care, mental health, and behavioral health, and is dedicated to not only treating individuals, couples, adolescents, family systems, and groups, but also educating them about the issues affecting their quality of life. Tracy Gantlin-Monroy is personally involved in the training and development of all the group facilitators and service workers at Grace Community Counseling and Social Services, LLC, to ensure every participant and client receives the highest level of treatment, care, and opportunity to actualize their lives, discovering healing needed to overcome the circumstances of divorce, career, change, family, relationships, stress, depression, anxiety, self-discovery, and life circumstances. Tracy Gantlin-Monroy is equipped from a faith-informed, charismatic, out-of-the-box perspective laden with philosophical underpinnings, sure to meet your emotional, mental, behavioral needs with practical interventions to assist with actualization of your personal and family goals. Tracy Gantlin-Monroy, you are so great. You are so popular. We have people calling in already. Quick moment. Thank you for calling TellUs to speak to Tracy Gantlin-Monroy, our rock star clinician. Thank you for calling in. Please state your name and what city you're calling from.
My name is Yolanda Shaw, and I'm calling from Conyers, Georgia.
Oh, great, Yolanda. Thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate you. What question did you have for Miss Tracy Gantlin-Monroy today?
Well, let me see. My first question will be, how do you deal with a teen that suffers from bipolar?
Great question.
What is a way to give them to reprimand them when they're doing something out of character?
Well, how old?
Well, we're talking about a teenager. She's 16.
16? Well, it just depends on what the value system is. Rather a child, or shall I say an adolescent, moving into the stage of development of young adulthood, reprimands has everything to do with what is their value system. Because remember, in America, we don't punish children, we redirect them. And when you address or attack, I'll say as a mom, attack their value system, that kind of gets their attention more than anything.
Okay.
Mainly that cell phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She values the cell phone.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Most of them do.
Yes, ma'am.
Cell phone.
All right. Okay. So I can start with maybe taking it away from her and then maybe make her think about the things that she's doing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And remember, when you give a reprimand, you have to set it for a period of time so that that can redirect the behavior and they can look forward to resuming life as usual.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for calling. And then, Tracy, we have a message here from Makiba Ramsey. She says she's trying to log on now to your show. And again, Makiba, as I just said, we may want to call her, but I told her to refresh her page. But let me check your phone right quick to make sure that you are on here where she can see that. Hold on. Thank you for calling TellUs. You're on live TV at Status Network. We have our showcase guest, Tracy Gantlin-Monroy, clinician. Thank you for calling in. Please state your name and what city you're calling from.
My name is Don, and I'm from Bronx, New York City.
Oh, great, Don. Thank you so much for calling in, honey. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. What question do you have for Ms. Gantlin-Monroy today?
I actually have a question. I am a mental health professional.
Okay.
And I currently work with formerly incarcerated adults.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having a lot of issues with transference, and I wanted to know if you can give me any kind of tips or anything that I can do in regards to remaining a professional in the mental health field and not letting transference actually impact my work.
I'd like to know, Don, is it?
Yes.
How do you see it impacting you as a clinician in the midst of you providing services?
It really depends. Like, depending on the client, I notice that I see them as a relative, a brother, a partner. Like, I identify a lot of just past relationships in my clients that I serve.
Okay. So in other words, although you are a clinician and the population you serve, I'm thinking are being reintroduced to community.
To the community. Mm-hmm.
And you're able to identify.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something interesting. You actually just took me back to school.
Mm.
Yeah, so the program I attended, which was with Richmond Graduate University, which, we refer to them as the Yale of the South for counseling. It was a professional counseling program integrated with religion. So it kind of gave the faith underpinning to the whole behavioral health, mental health side of the training, we did a lot of therapy, Don. Because here's what you got to know about sitting on that side of being a clinician. It's called self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care. Because not only does it sound like your clients and patients are having transference, your statements are suggestive to perhaps some counter-transference going on as well.
Absolutely. Because it's when in my assessment with them, once I get deeper and deeper into their issues, and I kind of realize that, they never really had a chance at, surviving. I don't know, like just something in me that just lets all my walls down, and I feel like for a moment I'm not a clinician. So I don't know, and I haven't had this feeling before, so that's why I'm like really struggling with this.
I appreciate your transparency.
Thank you.
My pleasure, because oftentimes, depending on the role that we maintain, here comes all this pseudo stuff and the ideal of what that looks like, what that feels like. But I really appreciate your humanity. Because
Thank you.
My pleasure, because what's happening here is I am having the privilege of speaking with a clinician that has unlimitless room to grow and develop. You know how when people go into Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, and all those places, and the first thing you notice about 12-step programs, you got to first acknowledge why you're there, right?
Oh, yeah.
What do they usually say? Hi, I'm such and such, and I'm an alcoholic.
And I'm an addict.
I'm an
alcoholic.
There you go. And what I'm hearing you say is, hi, I'm Don, and I'm a humanistic clinician, and I'm having countertransference because I'm caught up in the dynamic of transformation, which means it's not about the person sitting in front of you, on side of you, but the fact of the matter is, for everyone that we spend time with, we gain a part of them as they gain a part of us. Right? And so what I will suggest, Don, because what I'm hearing you say is there are quite a few of unhealed spots.
A lot, yeah.
Don's the wounded healer. And so what I'm going to suggest, Don, you got to set boundaries.
Boundaries.
Boundaries is the word of the day for you.
Boundaries.
What do you hear me saying, Don?
Boundaries, I'm hearing I need to be a little bit more assertive and kind of develop assertiveness within my boundaries with my clients.
And they have to be apparent. They should not be assumed. Right? Because what's happening is you're shifting from the role of a clinician almost to the place of an ally.
Yeah.
Right? And our whole role is as neutrality, right? To be neutral.
Right.
And I'm kind of sensing that's tipping a little bit. Let me tell you what I mean.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
I thought about that actually this morning after I met with a client. I realized that I feel like more of an ally, which I am to a degree, but I'm still a clinician.
That's right. And let's be clear, right? Because I kind of see myself, my name is Tracy Gantlin-Monroy. Many affectionately know me as TG. And if someone were to call me TJ, I would correct them and say TG, like tall and gorgeous, right? So now, check this out. So I'm already affirming my beauty, right? I am a twice divorcee. And I interact with men all the time. And as a man, you may be able to appreciate where I'm going with this. Everybody want to climb the tall tree. Ever heard that phrase before?
I have.
Okay. And so because I am a statuesque woman of almost 6 feet, it is like an open card game for men, especially the short ones. And as a professional, before you even get that opportunity to go there with me, from my presentation, from our therapeutic alliance, from our interaction, my tone, my demeanor, I don't play any games, because if I give you an inch, you're going to take a mile. Are you seeing the example I'm using, trying to make it simple and precise for you? You following me?
I am.
And so with that being said, because we are clinicians does not negate our humanity. It does not negate that when I walk in the room, that my command presence, my articulation, my spirit, you following me? And so as a trained professional, I have the responsibility to maintain a healthy, ethical, therapeutic alliance. And not only is it a action of ethics, it's the law. You with me?
I'm with you. I'm right here with you.
What are you hearing me say, Don?
I'm hearing you say right now that with our code of ethics, without that, then I'm not a clinician. I have to abide by what I agreed to as being a social worker.
That's absolutely correct. And you're bound by it. So much so, Don, there are consequences when we digress. And so what I would say to you as a colleague is, clearly the time you're spending with your population is more or less creating the need to revisit some unresolved situations within thine own self.
Yes.
And a therapist without a therapist flying with one wing, brother.
I know. I'm in the process of finding a new therapist. My previous one just moved to Philly, so
Okay.
I'm in the process. I'm hoping to find someone before the end of the year. So.
Well, you're on the right track with that. And let me say this. I've had the pleasure to work with that population for the BOP, which is the Bureaus of Prison. And it was so fascinating to me because I actually saw rappers that are well publicized, well known, coming to visit many of these people. In the stories, and what's interesting, so I can identify with where you're coming from only based upon having sat with, prime example, I'm also a licensed real estate broker. I had an older dominant culture gentleman sit with me in groups and in individual sessions who was actually a vice president of a bank.
Oh, wow.
The clients I served were from federal prison, and when I asked, so why are we here? And he pretty much laid out how he was embezzling money so that he had gotten this promotion. You know, his colleagues were making big bonuses, and he was making loans to wholesale real estate financiers. You following me? So when he would make a loan, if one of the debts that he made did not pay, he would move the money from an account that did pay to cover that debt to make his books right. He was cooking the books. Okay?
It sounds like, what's his name? I forgot his name. The Ponzi scheme guy.
Well, I'm not going to go all the way there with it due to confidentiality, but the point I'm making is this gentleman stated to me he said, you blow my mind, because even when I was in federal court trying to explain what I was doing to the judge, they had no concept of what I was talking about. And here I'm sharing it with you, and you're interjecting at all the right places. How do you know this? And I said, because I've been a licensed real estate broker for years. So we're not sitting with diagnosis. We're sitting with people, human beings caught up in the human condition. So let's be clear of our roles and what those boundaries must look like for the benefit of your clients, patients, as well as yourself.
Yeah. I got to eat. I got to take care of me first. So, and I honor the code of ethics that I agreed upon.
Well, I hope I've
Thank
helped.
you so much. I really appreciate all your kind words, and it feels good knowing that I have you on this line.
Thank you.
You really shaped my professional development tonight, and I really appreciate all your help today.
And of course,
Ashe.
she's going to be back and be back and be back if I get my way. She's going to be back.
Okay, I would love that.
Don, blessings.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
You guys have a good night.
Oh, you as well. Thank you so much for calling, honey.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Makiba is watching. So, hi, Makiba. So, she is logged on. I want you to know we know you're out there, and I'm so glad that you've logged on. Thank you so much, my love. And we have a couple of comments on here. Humanistic clinician, what you said. Someone said they love that you said that. So, the people are watching, and they are learning. Now, I want to ask, you had a question last time, and we didn't have time. So, what was your question you wanted to ask Ms. Tracy Gantlin-Monroy?
So you're like.
And again, this is my grandson, Cameron Maxwell. Okay.
So, of everything I've heard, you're a psychiatrist, right?
I am a licensed professional counselor, which is a clinician. So here's how it goes, Cameron. So you have the psychiatrist, which is the medical doctor who pretty much prescribes the medication to mental health, behavioral health patients, right? And so the psychiatrist's job is to make sure that the pharmacology, which means the medications they're being given, the conditions that they're being diagnosed with, their body chemistry, hormones, all that good stuff in chemistry, works together for good and to get a measurable outcome whereby a patient is stabilized, right? Then there's the psychologist. Psychologists historically are the testers of the mental health, behavioral health, helping professions to mean when there's an evaluation most times that need to be done to rule out behaviors or to identify behaviors. There are so many different psychological tests and assessments that can be administered. Psychologists generally do that, but they also do talk therapy. They're beginning to do more talk therapy than traditionally. And then there are the LPCs, licensed professional counselors, or the licensed clinical social workers. We are on the same level in terms of the services we provide, in terms of whether it's therapy, counseling, resources, family dynamics, family systems, and it kind of goes that way. Did I help you at all? What, psychiatrists, psychologists, then us, therapists, counselors, clinicians?
So you are kind of like a psychiatrist, right? You like help people with what they're doing in life?
Absolutely. I am a psychotherapist. I am a counselor, and we predominantly do some assessing as well, but we do the direct patient care, interacting, diagnosis even in terms of behaviors that you're presenting with and things of that nature. Yeah, we do that.
So I'm just going to call you a psychiatrist.
No. Psychiatrists are medical doctors, and I won't take away their honor from the work that they put in. I am an LPC, a licensed professional counselor, or you can call me a therapist, you can call me a counselor, you can call me a psychotherapist, and that's totally cool because I want you to learn it the right way. Because part of the challenge with the helping profession in marginalized communities, there has not been a lot of educating being done so that we know how to steer people in the right direction to have their needs met.
Okay. So what made you want to become an LPC?
Well, I didn't. It kind of happened. It was not my plan, but I will freely say the plan of the Lord. Destiny, right? Because I thought my money, my clout, I thought all that was going to come from real estate. And later found this to be my passion, helping people.
And when you find a passion professionally, that is such a blessing. It really is. Thank you for calling TellUs. Thank you so much. You are on live TV at Status Network. What question do you have for Ms. Tracy Gantlin-Monroy? But please first state your name and what city you're calling from.
Hi, good evening. This is Cece calling from the Bronx, New York.
Oh, thank you for calling in, Sigrid. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you, Guy. So I just have a question because I was listening to the young man or the man earlier, and you mentioned a therapist that doesn't have a therapist is flying with one wing. And so I'm a social worker, and I do believe in therapy 100%, but I myself have never been to therapy. And I guess it's because, not that I'm perfect and I don't have daily issues like anyone else, but I feel as though that I'm not sure that I would benefit from therapy, if that makes sense. And I just wanted to know, like, what are your thoughts about that? Have you ever encountered, whether it's a therapist or a psychiatrist or a social worker or anyone, a licensed mental health therapist, that they're 100% believers in therapy and even, provide therapy with this individual group or family therapy, but they just do not seek therapy themselves?
And that's unfortunate. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Let me qualify my statement. The heart surgeon has a heart surgeon. The pastor got a pastor. Right? Beauticians, they do one another's hair. They do in-kind services, right?
Yes.
Early on, when I transitioned, graduated from seminary, and I still don't know how I ended up in a professional counseling program. Nonetheless, even the psychologists, the clinicians that were responsible for training us, even in our practicum and internships, it was mandatory. Mandatory. Because here's the deal. Richmond Graduate University is known as a gatekeeper of the profession in the South. That's a fact. And the reality is, unless you go through that process, you will be bleeding all over clients and patients. Because we're all but wounded healers, and the Word of God says none are lost. And so show me one perfectly healed one amongst us. And so with that being said, I think it goes back to awareness. I have no problem sharing my own experience because it's written, it's documented.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, I didn't just wake up and decide I want to be a therapist or a professional counselor as my second profession. The fact of the matter is, my college sweetheart committed suicide 2 years after I left him. You understand? The fact of the matter is, I found out after he was dead. I was in a whole nother situation, another marriage, all those things, but found out from his best friend that his mama's boyfriend molested him as a teenager. And I thought to myself, no damn wonder he fooled. Not saying that I find people with mental health or behavioral health issues. I'm actually speaking idiomatically. Because for those that know me personally, they think I'm a little off, but that's okay because I'm just me, art by God. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
You know, all I can tell you is I got the credentials. I passed all the tests to include psychological because Richmond was popping them every time you turned around. Right? And so the point I'm making is we all can benefit from a tune-up emotionally, mentally, psychologically. You know, you don't have to have a mental health diagnosis to receive support. You know, look at grief in and of itself. Everything born must die.
Right.
There's even stages to grief, and sometimes people get stuck in between the stages. And so, yeah, I think even as trained, licensed clinicians, you better not be out there flying on one wing, relying upon yourself, because the first thing they teach you in school is what? Collaborate, and secondly, refer.
Right, right.
You shouldn't be in a vacuum. Hope that helps to give clarification of where I'm coming from.
It did help. It helped. And I've been in. So I also attend Bible study here in New York, and coincidentally, one of the preachers, she's a social worker. You know, and she preaches on self-care. Whatever that entails. Mental health. Having a therapist, and she mentioned that she also has a therapist as well. And so I've been hearing that a lot lately, and I've actually moved away from providing direct care and more administration and doing more administrative work.
Okay.
But just my group of in different circles, I'm hearing more of just those that are seeking or attending therapy and how much it has helped them. But I guess I feel or have felt that like I'm fine, I'm cool, and however, I do have some things that, by the naked eye, a person would think, so why are you harming yourself, due to like physical appearances, right?
That's right.
And you also hear that people often do things to themselves physically as a way of like crying out for help, or
That's right.
to make themselves unattractive because of certain things, whether it's not feeling self-worth or things like that. So just, so I've been having like friends and peers and, coworkers talk about just their own experiences in therapy. So I have been thinking about it more recently within the past year.
That is fabulous. Sigrid, we are going to have to cut this short. I apologize, but we have another segment coming up. And I apologize, everyone, but the show before us ran over. Of course, we're going to have Miss Tracy Gantlin-Monroy come back. Hopefully, maybe even within the next couple of weeks, if her schedule will permit. But we have got to cut it short. And Tracy, if they want to contact you by website, email, phone number, give us that information, please.
www.gracecommunitycounseling.com. And you got it, gracecommunitycounseling.com. And I will just shout out my number. If you can catch me, you got me. My number is 678-508-3552. Again, 678-508-3552.
Okay, great. I have it.
Okay, gracecommunitycounseling.com.
And I just want to say thank you to all of you who have called in, who couldn't get through. Charles Sharper, Tiara Duncan, Makiba Ramsey, Executive Chef Robert Scott. We have Lamar Lele Lewis on the line. We've had others that have been tuning in. We thank all of you guys for calling in and tuning in. Always tune in to TellUs every second and fourth Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You can always call in and talk to our fabulous guests, such as Miss Tracy Gantlin-Monroy. And again, as you all know, the number is always 470-251-4343. And I'm going to wish upon a star, and hopefully we can get her back here in the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much
This
for
needs to be a
tuning
2-hour
in.
show.
We need to do something. You know, I make her a co-host every time because it's just a joy. And again, you see the people, we need you. We need to talk to you. We need that.
Ashe. And thanks for having me, Si. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So
My
you
pleasure.
guys, thank you for calling in and tuning in. See you next time on TellUs, the Status Network, broadcast live TV, Atlanta, Georgia. Have a good night.